Right. So what we was doing on last week's, we discussed about the object-oriented programming concepts, and thereafter we discussed few important things under the object-oriented programming, and uh, then finally we move on to a topic called inheritance, right? So the inheritance topic is very important, and now last time we also discussed about this, and we implemented few examples as well, right? So now today what I'm going to do is that I'm going to continue the example that we were working on last time and complete it, right? But it's better if you can have a overall idea about what we did on last time. So let me show you the code. Now we had classes like this now. Yeah, let me open this one so it will open everything. It doesn't. Anyway, okay. Okay, right. So let's take a very simple example like this, right? Now in this what you have is you have a class called student, right? Student class එකක් තියෙනවා මෙතන. මේ student කියන class එකේ we have several data members like string name and a subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and average, right? So that's what we have, right? And we have a cal average method or a member function and a print details member function, and we have two constructors. The first constructor is the constructor is the parameterized constructor where we are going to get 4 parameters, 1 string, and three floats for 3 marks, right? අපි constructor එකේ parameters 4ක් දාලා තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි එක නම ගන්න, දෙවෙනි එක පළවෙනි මාක් එක, දෙවෙනි මාක් එක, තුන්වෙනි මාක්ස් 3ක් ගන්න තමයි අපි මේ constructor එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. Then we have the default constructor here, right? So we have the default constructor, right? So what we do in the class simply is that we simply yeah, so this is how the average is calculated. So this is something usual to you. We have already we have all the time we use this function, the calculate average function, where the average is simply the addition and divide by 3. So that gives the addition of 3 marks simply. Then the print details function here simply prints the name and the average. It's not going to print the marks, right? Only prints the name and the average. That's all, right? So then we have the constructor, the parameterized constructor, which takes 4 parameters and assign them to the corresponding variables. I mean the data members, right? Parameterized constructor එකක් තියෙනවා අර object එකක් හදනකොට මෙන්න මේ parameters ටික අරගෙන මෙයා මෙතනට assign කරගන්නවා subject 1, subject 2, and subject 3 simply, right? Then we have the default constructor. So in default constructor we are doing nothing. What we do is simply we assign all the variables to their default values, right? We assign them to their default values. So that's what we do here. Understood? Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much everything, right? And what we have done here is simply creating an object, this one, and we pass these things and cal average and print details. So that's all, right? So simply this works like this. That's what, this is what we did in the student class. Right now, what I'm going to do now, I want another class. Now, if you plot this, or if you visualize this graph, so I mean the graph in the sense the class, the student class, right? So if you visualize the student class, it's something like this. Right, so it's something like this where you have several data members. So if you go to the H file, you will probably understand what is here. Right, so we have a name here, right? And subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and average. And we have the cal average and the print details. Right? So those are the things available here simply. Now, this is called a student. This is called a student class. Understood? Then what I'll do here is that now, okay. Then when we student class right? මට තව ඕනේ class එකක් university student කියලා. දැන් මේක ඔයා don't think like we are not going to use inheritance directly. No, don't worry about inheritance, what's inheritance and those things. Don't worry about that. What I want to show you is that, okay, I want to create another separate class. මට තව class එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේ දෙක දැන්ම සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න යන්න එපා ඔයාලා. මට ඕනේ දැන්ට නිකන් තව class එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. මට මේ idea එක තියෙනවා. I have the idea to create another class, right? So simply what I will do is I will define the class here like this is what I want, right? So that's it. Don't worry about the inheritance and මොකුත් එහෙම ඒවා ගැන හිතන්න එපා. දැන් මම දැන්ට කියන්න මට මෙහෙම class එකක් ඕනේ. I want this kind of class called uni student, right? So uni student should has one student has a name, right? Then subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, subject 5, right? And average and GPA. Yes, so those are the data members available. Then we have the cal average, right? Cal average and cal GPA, like this. And then print details. So these are the things that we want. Then මම මේ කියන්නේ මට තව class එකක් හදන්න. I need to create another class, a separate class, right? A separate class called uni student. Now, these student and uni student class, those classes, they don't have any relationship up to now, right? Then මේ වෙනකන් කිසිම මේ දෙන්න අතර relationship එකක් නැහැ. These two are like independent classes, right? These are, consider these two as independent classes, two independent classes, right? Simply two independent classes called student and university student, right? That's what it simply explains. Then what I'm going to do now, you can see that if we carefully look here, we will see that okay, the name, subject 1 and subject 3, right? So these are available in the student class as well, and this is also available in the student class, and this is also available in student class, and this is also available in the student class, right? I just want to compare these two. So then I will find that I can find that these, like some of the data members as well as the member functions, right? Data members and the member functions are available for both I mean, some of the data members that declared in the university student are also available in the student class as well. Then university student එක අපි දාන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්න තාම මේ අපි university student කියන class එක හැදුවේ නැහැ. Right? We didn't create the university student class yet. But when we define the university student class, we see that some of the data members as well as member functions are available in the student class. Right? Now, we have university student class අපි හදන්න හිතාගෙන අපි අයිඩියා එකක් තිබ්බා අපිට. ඊට පස්සේ අපි පොඩ්ඩක් ක්ලාස් එක ඩිෆයින් කරගත්තා. ක්ලාස් එක පොඩ්ඩක් අපි ඩිෆයින් කරලා අපි ඒ ඕනේ දේවල් ටික අපිට ඕනේ දේවල් ටික අපි ලියාගත්තා මේ විදිහට. So then when we compare it with the student class, we can see that there are common and common data members available for university student and student, right? So in this kind of a situation, what we can do is, now no worries, you can still create the university student class as a separate class. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඔයාලට university class එක වෙනම class එකක් විදිහට හදන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අපි මේ we create the student class, right? So similarly, what you can do is you can create the university student class separately, no any connection or no any relationship, no any integration between the student and university student. In such a way, you can create this new class called university student without any doubt. තේරෙනවද මං කියපු එක කියන්නේ? මේක common තිබ්බට කමක් නැහැ. ඔය ඔක්කොම common තියෙනවා අමතක කරලා ඔයාට මුලින් ඉඳන් මේ student class එක හැදුවා වගේම university student කියලා තව වෙනම class එකක් ඔයාලට හදන්න පුළුවන්. කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ඒක. Right? So no issues, no doubts, right? You can still create the university student class as a separate class other than the student class. Understood? The student class එක වගේම තව අපිට university student class කියලා එකක් වෙනම හදන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැතුව. Right? But the thing is, now what we can see here is that some of the members in the sense data members and member functions, there are some common, right? There are some common data members and member functions if we compare the student and university student. අමාර කලින් කිව්වා වගේ මේක වෙනම හදන්න පුළුවන්. කිසිම දෙන්න අතර සම්බන්ධයක් නැතුව දෙනම ක්ලාසස් දෙකක් විතර හදන්න පුළුවන්. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right? But thing is, now we can see that when we compare the student and university student, we have like common data members as well as member functions. So in this kind of a situation, what we can do is we can inherit the university student class from the student class. Right? අපිට inherit කරන්න පුළුවන්. inherit කරනවා කියන්නේ දැනට student class එකේ තියෙන ඒවා තියෙනවානේ. ඒවා අපි අලුතෙන් declare කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ university student class එකේ. Right? අපි ඒවා student class එකෙන් inherit කරගන්නවා. student class එකෙන් අපි ඉල්ල ගන්නවා ඒ ටික. Right? We can do such a thing. Right? So that's what you call the inheritance simply. Right? That's what you call the inheritance. Now what we can do is that right? So I will add another H file and let me
excuse me.
Yes.
ඔහොම ඉන්හෙරිට් කරනකොට දැන් පළවෙනි ක්ලාස් එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම දෙවෙනි ක්ලාස් එකේ තියෙන්න ඕනේද?
නෑ. එහෙම රික්වයර්මන්ට් එකක් නෑ. මෙහෙමයි. දැන් හොඳ ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
කොමන්ඩ් මෙම්බර්ස් තිබ්බොත් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන්නේ.
ඔව්. හැම එකම තියෙන්න ඕනේ නෑ. දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට right? අපි හිතමුකෝ මේ ළමයා A level student කෙනෙක් කියලා, right? So let's say that this is this student is a A level student also, so we can have a Z score, right? We can have a Z score, let's say Z score, right? But thing is, now the Z score will be also a member of the student class, right? Like student class එක Z score එකක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි university student Z score එකක් නැහැ, right? But the thing is, if you are going to inherit, it will be also available in the university student. දැන් Z score එකක් අපි inherit කරද්දී university student යනවා. හැබැයි ඒක අපි use කරන්නේ නැහැ, right? අපි ඒක use
ඔක්කොම
නොකර
ගන්න අවශ්‍ය දෙක විතරක් පාවිච්චි කරනවා.
අන්න හරි. අපිට ඕනේ දේවල් ටික විතරක් අපි පාවිච්චි කරනවා. එහෙනම් අපිට දැන් ගෙදරින් මොකක් හරි තව අපිට මොකක් හරි හම් වෙනවා කියලා හිතනවා. ගෙදරින් හම් වෙන දෙයක් සමහරවිට අපි ඒක use කරන්නේ නැහැ. නිකන් තියලා තියෙන හැබැයි අපිට හම්බුණා. right? ඔයාලා හම් වෙනවා කොහෙද? මන්නාරම් පැත්තෙන් ඉඩමක්. right? හම් අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. just තියනවා ඒක. right? අන්න ඒ වගේ දෙයක්.
Okay sir, thank you.
Oh, එහෙම requirement එකක් නැහැ. No such a requirement like that. That means like okay, when you are going to inherit, you should have a base class as well as a derived class. So we say a parent class and a child class. So the requirement is that the members, all the members in that parent class should not be there in the child class. No, but it will be inherited, right? It will be inherited. But thing is, it's up to you to use it or not use it, right? Understood? So now, yeah, so what I can do is uni student, right? I'm creating a class called uni student, and here this is how we are going to inherit, right? Public student, right? Okay, now this is what you call the inheritance. So this is the single line, or this is a single command that you need to inherit a class from a base class, right? So if you do this, so this says okay, so this is inherited, right? So this is inherited. Right? Okay, I have a small question now. If you do this, careful listen. If you inherit, okay, so this is how we are going to inherit, and note that this, with this you need to do some other thing as well. I think the spellings is student. This should be the H file, sorry. Anyway, right, okay. Right. So thing is, this is how we are going to inherit it simply, right? And one important thing, you need to, if you are inheriting from a base class, you have to include the header file of the parent class. Right? So you have to include the header file of the parent class. Right? You have to include it definitely. Include the header file of the base class. Right? If you are inherit කරද්දී child class එකේ header file එක ඇතුලේ දැන් මේ තියෙන child class එකේ header file එක student class ini student කියන header file එක. ඒක ඇතුලේ ඔයා දාන්න ඕනේ parent class එකේ header file එක. Right? So that's something you have to do definitely, right? Okay. Now, when you do this, right, when you do this, the members will be inherited from the, right? Then on urume hambena, university student class urume hambe, right? Okay. So this is the student class. Can someone tell me what will be the members inherited to the student, I mean the university student class? When the student class එක තියෙනවා මට කියන්න මෙන්න මේ student class එකෙන් මොනවද, right? මෙන්න මේ student class එකෙන් මොනවද university student class එකට inherit වෙන්නේ කියලා. මොන members ද? Yes, someone quickly. Now we inherit kala. We inherited it, right? So this is how we are going to inherit it. And when you inherit, my question is, okay, so this is the when our parent class. Parent class again, one of the inherited members la.
Public items together.
Very good. Very good. Now, if this is the case, only the public will be inherited. So these won't be inherited since they are private, right? So what you can do is you have to make them protected, right? Not public. Carefully you have to analyze these things. Data members, you won't make it public since like that's the requirement now. Public, since when it's, I mean, if you declare something public, what happens? That that member member could be accessed from the main as well, but there's a standard and there's a kind of a standard where that we say that we don't allow the data members to be accessed by the main. So in that case, we have to make it private. So if you make it private, the main can't access them. But thing is, if you make it private, there's another issue. Then api private කරනවා තව issue එකක් වෙනවා මොකද්ද? Right? So if you make it private, you can see the derived classes also, right? So derived classes cannot access private members, right? Okay? Derived class වලටත් බෑ private members access කරන්න. So we have to use the middle access modifier, the protected. So it won't allow the main to access the data members. Then protected කරාම main එකට access කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි derived class වලට access කරන්න දෙනවා. දැන් private වල තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඒක derived class වලට access කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් main එකට access කරන්න. ඒතර අපිට මේ මැද එක තමයි හරියන්නේ. Derived class වලට දීලා මෙයාට දෙන්න නැතුව ඉන්නවා main එකට. Understood, right? So that's why we have to make them protected, right? Not public. Public කරාම එන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි public කරාම main එකට පුළුවන් access කරන්න, right? Then what you have that the question just arrived. Now, if you have any data member that you want to make a data member, let's say that you want to make a data member in such a way that the inherited class couldn't access it, right? අපි හිතමු අපිට special data member එකක් තියෙනවා, එයාව අපිට inherit class එකට අපි දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ගෙදර බයික් එකක් තියෙනවා, ඒ බයික් එකේ තාත්තා specifically කියනවා ඔයාලට දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා, right? Right? So in such a case, in such a situation, what you can do is you can make it private. Let's say, so the Z score, right? So you can do it like this. Then you can make it a private. So what happens now? The main won't or main couldn't. Sorry, not the main. The university student class, right, couldn't access the Z score. Right? It won't be accessed by the, couldn't be accessed by the derived class. දැන් මෙහෙම Z score එකක් කියලා හිතන්න අපි ඒක university student class එකට access කරන්න දෙන්න ඕනේ නැත්තම් you can do it like this. Understood, right? Okay, now we have made them protected. See, now we have made them protected. Now what happens? තව හොඳ දෙයක් අනිවාර්යෙන් මතක තියාගන්න, right? දැන් මේක මෙහෙම තිබ්බත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මේක මෙහෙම තිබ්බ කියත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right? No issue, right? So the other requirement that don't think, this is a very important point, that don't think that when you are going to perform inheritance, right? If you are going to perform or if you are going to implement inheritance, don't think that all the members of the all the members of the parent class should be there in the child class. මෙහෙම හිතන්න එපා. අපිට inherit කරන්න නම් parent class එකේ තියෙන හැම දෙයක්ම child class එකේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා නියමයක් නෑ. දැන් මෙතන මේ z score කියන එක නෑනේ. child class එකේ එහෙම කියලා අපිට inherit කරන්න බැරි කතාවක් නෑ. No. No such a thing. Like if you have common things you can inherit. No need to, I mean, there's no requirement that the requirement like this. All the members of the student class should be there in the, I mean, all the members in the parent class should be there in the child class. නෑ එහෙම එකක් නෑ. හැම එකම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. common ඒවා තිබ්බනම් ඇති. මොනවා හරි කමක් නෑ. මේ තියෙන හොඳ example එක දැන් z score කියන එක university student ඕනේ නෑ. හැබැයි ඒක ඉතින් අරක තිබ්බා. හැබැයි ඉතින් ඒකත් අරයට යනවා ඉබේම. මොකද protected නේ. right? ඒතර මේකත් අරයට ඉබේම යනවා. right? So the z score will be also available in the university student class, but we don't use it. right? We don't use it. දැන් z score කියන එක parent class එකේ තියෙනවා. parent class එකේ protected එකක් හින්දා ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම university student යනවා. හැබැයි එහෙම ගියා කියලා ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම use කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා එකක් නැහැ. That is another important thing, right? Okay, now what happens when you make it like this? So what are the data members that will be inherited by the university student class? මෙයාගෙන් කාවද inherit වෙන්නේ මෙයාට? Yes, now quickly. Yes, anyone quickly? දැන් මෙහෙම තියෙද්දි මෙයාට හම්බෙන්නේ මොනවද? Yes. කියන්න බලන්න. Yes. Yes, yes, quickly. Now, my question. We inherit a class called university student from the student class. So my question, what are the members that will be inherited from the student class to the university student class? Yes. Yes. Yes, quickly. Anyone? කවුරු කියන්නේ දැන් මොනවද මම ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙන්නේ මෙහෙම කළාට පස්සේ මොනවද ඉන්හෙරිට් වෙන්නේ ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකේ මොනවද යුනිවර්සිටි ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකට එන්නේ? Yes. Yes, 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 quickly. Yes, yes, no one is answering. What's the issue? Huh? Yes. මොන members ද ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකෙන් මේ යුනිවර්සිටි ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකට යන්නේ දැන් මොනවද යන්නේ මෙතනින්? Yes, quickly. Yes. Yes. What are the members? Yes. Yes. Anyone? මගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මම අහන්නේ. අපි ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකෙන් යුනි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කියලා ක්ලාස් එකක් හදනවා. දැන් මම අහන්නේ දැන් ඉන්හෙරිට් කරනවනේ මෙතන. This is how we are going to inherit it. So my question මෙතන දැන් මේ තියෙන ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එක තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. මම අහන්නේ මේ ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකෙන් අර යුනිවර්සිටි ස්ටුඩන්ට් ක්ලාස් එකට හම්බෙන ඉන්හෙරිට් වෙන මෙම්බර්ස්ලා මොනවද මේ ටිකෙන්? Yes. Yes. So very simple question, no? Yes. Yes. What do you think? Quickly. We are running out of time now. Almost 5 minutes are gone. You are not going giving the answer. Yes. Okay. Achira, what do you think? Because Achira hitan one of the how many data members? Yes. Inherit වෙන්නේ මොනවද? Is there any issue with my microphone? No, right? The speaker? No. Yes. Achira. Yes. Is there any issue with my... I can't hear you. What's the issue? Okay. All right. Actually, I can't hear you anyway. Now, any other one? Right? Nalin, what do you think? More than how many data members? La? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. What's the issue now? Can't you understand this? So what's the issue now? Please tell me if it's the case so I can explain what I'm doing here again. Yes? Yes, yes, yes. Anyone? No, now I'm not going to go into the next thing before if you are not going to answer, right? I mean, I want to know. I mean, it's a very simple question. Now, what my question was again. Okay, I'm going to inherit the class called university student from the student class, right? So my question is, when I'm going to do that, what are the members that will be inherited inherited to the university student class from the student class. Student class එකෙන් මොනවද university student class එකට යන members ලා කියලා තමයි මම අහන්නේ. Yes.
All members will take by because the protected implemented.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens, right? So now I told you inheritance, right? What happens in the inheritance, simply all the public and protected members will be available in the child or the derived class, right? Yes, exactly. So that's what a very simple thing, right? So you would have answered it in 1 minute, right? So I mean, very simple thing. All I have repeated this for several times. All the protected and public members will be inherited to the university student. So that means, right? So there will be a Z score as well. Right? There will be a Z score as well, but actually no need to use the Z score, but it will be there. Right? It will be there since right? This will be also there. Right. So my question, okay, now then, right? But the thing is, now we have some other things in this class here, right? So here we have some other things as well, like these are not available in the, right? So these are on, right? So these should be on, right? These are on. So what we can do here is that we need to only create our own members here, right? So float subject 3, float subject 4, and float subject 5, and float GPA, right? Float GPA simply. Then we have these should be like private. Right? Now, okay, another question. Can you guess it? Now, I mean, do we need to? I mean, is it private here? It should be private or protected here. What do you think? Huh? This should be private or protected. Yes, I'm expecting the answer. Meanwhile, I'm implement the code. Yes.
Protected.
It should be protected or private. Okay. So one says protected. Okay. Others, what do you think? Yes, private or protected. මේක අපි private කියලාද දානවද protected කියලාද දානවද මොකද හිතන්නේ? Yes. Okay, we are getting answers this time. Good. Both okay. Protected. Okay. Actually, this should be yeah, both okay, but the thing is now technically this should be private. The thing is, right? Now if you make it protected here, that won't make any change. මෙතන protected කළා කියලා මොකුත් වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද දන්නවද? මේ protected කරනවද කියන එක බලපාන්නේ university student ගෙන් කවුරු හරි අපි inherit කරලා ගන්නවා. Right? So that means, right? So if you are going to inherit a class from here, this one, right? So if you are going to inherit another class from the university student class, then these should be protected. University student තාප් කියන්නේ university student ත් පුතෙක් ඉන්නවා නැත්නම් එයාලා තාම මොකක් හරි child class එකක් එයාගෙන් හදනවා නම් අන්න එතකොට මේක protected කරනවා. නැතුව, right? මේක protected කළා කියලා if you want the if you make this protected, that doesn't mean that these are available in here. මේක protected කළා කියලා මේවා මෙයාට access වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම නෙවෙයි. දැන් අපි ගෙදරින් අපිට හම්බුනාට අපේ දේවල් ගොඩක් වෙලාට ගෙදරට යන්නේ නැහැ නේද? right? තේරෙනවද? අපි වාහනයක් ගත්තා කියලා ඒක අපි ගෙදර වාහනේ යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන් කිව්වා වගේ අපි වාහනයක් ගත්තා කියලා ඒක ගෙදරට අයිති වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. right? inheritance කියන එක යන්නේ ගොඩක් අහකට පුතාගෙන් නෑ sorry තාත්තගෙන් පුතාගේ පැත්තට. right? So here also if you I mean if you make this protected, that means right, if you make this protected, that means there should be a inherited class here from the university student class, like let's say BST student, right? BST student, another student class, right? Likewise. So here it's better, I mean you can make it private since you don't have any child classes in university student class, right? University student class child classes නැති හින්දා අපිට ඒක දාලා තියන්න පුළුවන් private විදිහට. Now this is it, right? So can you see now we have our, I mean what I colored in red are the own, right? So these are the own members, right? So these are own members are highlighted in red, own members. Right? Own members. So I have highlighted own members in red here, right? Understood? So we are, can you see now? We are going to only declare the own members in the class. So others will be inherited. දැන් අපිට පේන්නේ නැති වුණාට university student class එක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා name, sub1, sub2, sub3, GP, sorry, average, right? So those are available, right? So those are available inside the class. Inside the class, those are available. But the thing is, those are inherited, right? So these are inherited. දැන් මේවා අපි දාන්න ඕනේ නෑ මෙතන, right? මේ ටික අපි දාන්න ඕනේ නෑ. මොකද දන්නවද? මේ ටික දාන්න ඕනේ නෑ කියන්නේ මේ ටික inherit වෙලා එනවා. ඉබේම එනවා. එතකොට අපි දාන්න ඕනේ own එක විතරයි, right? So here we have only declared our own members, right? Only the own members, you see? Right? These are only the own members. So the, I mean the derived or inherited members are no, I mean they no need to be declared here, right? No need to be declared here. Only the own members should be declared, right? තේනද? අරව දාන්න ඕනේ නැහැ දැන්. අපිට inherit වෙලා තියෙනවා physical එක මෙතන පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Right? Understood? Okay, right? So now shall we go to the next one? I mean the CPP file. Uni student dot CPP. Right. So then, so I'm going to load the uni student H file here. Then the thing is, we need to have the constructors. Right? So constructor should be there. Right, so I'm creating a constructor which can take the name as well as the 5 marks, right? So the name and the 5 marks, right? Name and 5 marks. Right? Okay, so fine. Then let us go here and declare the remainings. I mean, like uni is student, the default constructor where we are going to assign default values like this, right? And sub1 0, all the data members are assigned to 0, right? Then yeah, okay, so we have a question, let's see. Why sub3 for child class? Yeah, so the child class is now the university student, right? So in the university student, we have 5, I mean, we have these meta members like sub1, sub2, sub3, sub4, sub5, right? So we take 2 and 3, sorry, 1 and 2 and, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got it now. Yes, only 4 and 5, right? Yeah, sorry. Only 4 and 5. Yeah, sorry. It should be like this. My mistake. Only 4 and 5 are the on members, right? Right. So the constructor is done and the cal GPA. So it should be void uni is student cal GPA. Right. Then I think we implement the cal GPA some yeah, we will use the same thing, right? This one. Now I told you that this is not the correct method to calculate the GPA, right? And this is not the correct method to calculate the GPA, but we will use it, right? So just based on the average, we are going to calculate the GPA, but this is not how it's calculated in real, right? Okay, so that's pretty much everything, but we have the cal average and the pin details functions available, like they are the inherited, right? So the inherited things are also available, but no need to declare them, right? No need to declare them. Right, so those are the inheriteds. Okay, now, yeah, so that's pretty much everything. And yeah, which is command under. You mean this one? Now, this says simply, yeah, so this says that this is the, yeah, so this says that now, if you declare it like this, so this is a normal cal GPF function, a general function, but here it says that cal GPA, this is the specific function that declared in the unit student class. So that's what it says. So this says make an university student class එකේ cal GPA කියන එක තමයි මේ කියන්නේ. ඒතර මේ කියන්නේ university student class එකේ කියලා කියන තමයි මේක අපි use කරන්නේ. university student class එකේ cal GPA. මෙහෙම දැම්මොත් එහෙනම් මේක නිකන් අර normal C++ function එකක්. එළිය තියෙන C++ function එකක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. right? So මේක තමයි අපි use කරන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අර class එකේ කියලා කියන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ class එකේ කියලා අපි mean කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ colon දෙක දාලා class එකේ name එකත් එක්ක තමයි දාන්නේ. right? Yes, so if you go to the main, now I need to include the unit student class here as well. So I'm going to create a unit student, right? A unit student. Right. So shall we run this and see what's the output? There will be few issues here. I will correct them. Yeah. Okay, so we have this issue now. There's a small issue here that if you go to the main, you can see in the main. So carefully listen. Now here we first load the IO stream. So IO stream is a standard library, right? IO stream is a standard library in C++. So without IO stream, you can't print anything or you can't get inputs, right, to the code. So IO stream libraries containing the print function, the C in, C out functions, those kind of input output functions are included in the IO stream. So that's something obvious, and we have to always include it in our code for almost all the code. Then so here what we do is we include the header file to our code. අපේ code එකට අපි මෙන්න මේ student header file එක include කරනවා, right? So what it does simply, it goes here, right? It goes here and it includes all of these things to the main file. දැන් මෙන්න මේ අපි මෙතන මොකද්ද මේ කරන්නේ? අපි මෙන්න මේ header file එක include කරගන්න කියන අපේ code එක. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙන්න මේකේ මේ තියෙන හැම එකක්ම අපේ code එක ඇතුළට එනවා. main එකේ code එක ඇතුළට මේ හැම දෙයක්ම එනවා, right? හරි. ඊට පස්සේ අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? Here again, can you see now? We include again the university student.h, right? We include the university student.h. So what happens here? In the university student.h, what happens? Right? So here is the university student.h. So here you can see again the student.h is loaded. ආපහු student.h load කරනවා අපි. Right? ඔන්න ඔහම වුණාම දැන් මෙතන අපහු මම කියන්නම්කෝ. Right, can you see? Now first we include the student.h. That means this header file is loaded into our code. Then what we do, we again include the university student.h. When you include the university student.h, here also the student.h is again, it tries to include it again. ආපහු මෙයාව include කරන්න try කරනවා. මොකද university student එකේ ඇතුළත් මේක තියෙනවානේ. එතකොට එහෙම දෙපාරක් කරන්න ගියාම මෙන්න මේ වගේ error එකක් පෙන්නනවා ඔයාට. මොකක්ද error එක? Right, so it says redefinition of the class student. Redefinition of the class student. So class student is defined 2 times since the header file is loaded 2 times. නේද? එකපාරක් මෙහෙම load වෙනවා. ඊළඟ පාර university student එක load කරන්න හදද්දි ඒක ඇතුලේ ආයෙ load වෙන්න try කරනවා. Right? So that is a issue. So you are going to get and end up with an error. The error says simply says redefinition of class student. So it says redefinition. Again, the student is trying to redefine, right? So in order to get rid of this one, we simply use this kind of a method. මෙන්න මේක නැති කරන්න අපි මෙන්න මෙහෙම method එකක් use කරනවා. අපි දානවා මෙන්න මෙහෙම command එකක් if not defined std, right? Define std, right? So std, now this name you can use any name, right? So it's fine, you can use even your name, any name, right? මොකක් හරි මෙතන නමක් දාගන්න පුළුවන්. මෙහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ, කිසි දෙයක් කිසිම එකක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මේ කියන්නේ මේක දානවා නම් මෙතන මේකත් මෙහෙම දාන්න ඕන, right? So anyway, I will use std like this, right? And then finally you have to end that if condition. So this is kind of if condition. So what it does simply, it first checks if not defined, right? If not defined, if endf, if not defined std, std කියලා එකක් කලින් define වෙලා තියනවද කියලා බලනවා, right? එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒක define කරනවා, right? I'll explain this in detail. I'll add something similar to this here as well in the university.student.h. Define USTD. So that's not necessary to be USD any name, right? ඔයාට කැමති නමක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So this is what happens now. This is like a if condition, right? This also is like a if condition, right? So what happens now here? Let's say, let's go again to the main. Let's go again to the main. And what I'll do, okay, first include the student.h. So we are going here, right? And we check whether something called std is defined. No, we didn't define anything called std up to now. Then what it does, so this condition is true, right? This condition is true, right? I mean, it's looking for if not defined std. std කියලා define කරලා නැද්ද කියලා බලන්න. හරි. කරලා නැහැ. එහෙනම් ඒ condition එක හරි. ඒ condition එක හරි නම් we define something called std. අපි හදනවා ඔන්න std කියලා. ඔන්න දැන් std කියලා හැදෙනවා. right? ඔන්න දැන් std කියලා හැදලා තියෙනවා. right? හරි. ඊට පස්සේ මේක define වෙනවා ඔක්කොම ටික හරි. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද කරන්නේ? ආපහු යනවා. We include the university student. We include the university student. So in the university student, again the student.teach loaded here, right? So what happens now? Again it goes here and check here. If not define std, std not defined the std define. std define නම් මේ condition එක false. මොකද යා බලන්න if not defined, define කරලා නැද්ද කියලා, define කරලා නැහැ. ද කියලා බලන්න, define කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේ condition එක false. එහෙනම් මේ ටික execute වෙන්නේ නැහැ. right? එතකොට ආපහු redefine වෙන්නේ නැහැ මේක කවදාවත්. එකපාරයි redefine වෙන්නේ. right? Understood? So in order to get rid of this redefinition, we use this method, right? So what you can do, simply you can use any name here and include if not define and define and then end if, right? So you need to include it in all the header files in your class, right? All the header files in your code, right? So that's the only requirement. Understood? Inheritance දාද්දී ඔක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරන්න ඕන දෙයක්. මොකද නැත්නම් එකම header file එක ආයෙ define වෙනවා, right? මෙතන අපි ඉස්සල්ලාම student.h එක define කරනවා. එතකොට මෙයා ගිහිල්ලා ඒක define කරගන්නවා. හැබැයි ආපහු මෙයාගේ ඇතුළෙත් university student define කරද්දී යාගෙත් ආපහු student එක ආපහු load and try කරනවා, right? අන්න එක දෙපාරක් තුන් පාරක් load වෙන එක නවත්තන්න තමයි අපි ඔන්න මේක use කරන්නේ, right? We use this to get rid of this array definition. Get rid of the array definition. Understood, right? Fine. Okay, now so now it's fine. Now shall we run this and see? Some minor errors are available, right? So it works. But my question is this output is correct? දැන් වැඩ කරනවා මේක හරියද මේ අපේ එන එක හරියද? Okay, my question is the average correct? Is the average correct? Average එක හරියද?
It's incorrect, sir.
Not correct, right? So it should be something around 68.8.
60 to 70.
Yeah, 68.8. So what's the issue now? We don't get the correct average. What's the reason?
I think this has used the first three
Yes, exactly.
values.
Very good, very good. Now see what happens here, right? Okay, my question. So let me ask few questions from you. Okay, so does university student has a method called or member function called cal average? University student cal average කියලා member function එකක් තියනවද? හා? University student cal average කියලා member function එකක් තියනවද? තියනවද කියලා බලන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් මේ. තමන්ගේම එකක් තියනවද? on එකක් තියනවද? cal average කියලා on එකක් තියනවද මෙයාට? හා? Yes. cal average කියලා member function එකක් තියනවද? තමන්ගේ on member function එකක් තියනවද university student? Yes or no? Binary question. Yes or no? Huh?
No.
No, right? So others, I mean,
No.
the answer will you like just drop a message from the the chat, right? Then ඔයාලට පේනවා මෙතන university student නෑ cal average කියලා on එකක් නෑ. හැබැයි මොකද්ද තියෙන්නේ? on එකක් නැති වුණාට inherited එකක් තියෙනවා. I think අපි මෙතන call කරන්නේ කවුද, right? So here we call okay std1.cal average. So what happens? Std is a university student. So it goes here and check whether there is something called cal average. තමන්ගේ cal average කියලා එකක් තියනවද කියලා බලන්න. No, there is no any cal average. So what happens then? තමන්ගේම එකක් නෑ, right? So here you can see no member function called cal average in own definition. Tamange definition again, cal average. Then what happens? Okay, these are not the properties, or these are not only the members that you got. You have got something from your father as well. You have inherited some assets from your father as well. You have inherited some members from the father or the parent class as well, right? So then what it do is it simply checks whether there is a function then. තමන්ගේ කැල් ඇවරේජ් කියලා ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් නැහැ නේ හැබැයි තමන්ගේ විතරක් නෙමෙයි යුනිවර්සිටි ස්ටුඩන්ට් තියෙන්නේ තාත්තෙන් හම්බ දේවලුත් තියෙනවා ඉන්හෙරිට් වෙන දේවලුත් තියෙනවා එහෙනම් මෙයා බලනවා ඉන්හෙරිට් වෙලා කැල් ඇවරේජ් කියලා එකක් තියෙනවද කියලා yes there is a function called cal average but what's the issue huh? What's the issue yes huh? Yeah, so it uses that this cal average. ඉතින් එයා use කරන මේ cal average එක. ඉතින් මොකක්ද මේ cal average එක use කරන එකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ? හා? use කරන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. cal average කෙනෙක් use කරන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ use කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නේ මොකද ඉතින් subject තුනයි එකතු කරලා තුනෙන් බෙදෙන එක කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේක හරියන්නේ නැහැ අපිට නේද? හා? So what's the solution? Anyone? Can you suggest something for this to get the real average? මේකෙන් හරි average එක එන්නේ නැහැ. අපි GPA එක පස්සේ ඩීල් කරමු GPA එකත් එක්ක. දැන් මට කියන්න මේක හරියට ගන්න කවුරු හරි සජෙස්ට් කරන මෙතඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා මොකක් හරි. Yes?
We have to introduce a function to uni student.
Yes, exactly. Very good, right? So what you can do? හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් කැල් ඇවරේජ් එක කියන අපිටම කැල් ඇවරේජ් එක අපි හදාගමු. Now you should have a problem. You should have a issue. You should have a doubt here. Okay, what happens? Now it's like this. Your father has given you a cal average function and you also have your own cal average function, right? තාත්තා දුන්න cal average function එකකුත් තියෙනවා. දැන් ඔයත් හදාගන්න වෙනවා cal average function එක. Right? So what will get the priority? Huh?
The uni student one will be the priority.
Yes, exactly. The own member function will get the priority. Right? Right? Now what happens simply here? Now we have our own cal average method here. අපිත් අපේ එකක් දාගත්තා. ගෙදරත් බයික් එකක් තියෙනවා මමත් සල්ලි දීලා ගත්ත බයික් එකක්. Right? Here there is a cal average. ගෙදරත් එකක් තියෙනවා තාත්තත් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකත් මට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද inherit වෙනවා. මමත් මගේ එකක් ගත්තා. cal average කියලා. එකම නමෙන්. This is also cal average. This also cal average. Right? So now you have your own bike at your home as well as you have your inherited bike from your father as well. Right? So what obviously the priority will be given to what? Priority is given to your own, right? Your own. The priority will be given to your own. So now here we are in the university student. We declare our own cal average to the university student. And this is how it works. Simply add all the 5 and divide by 4. But here the parent cal average simply add 3 and divide by 5. Sorry, 3. Right? Now we will see. Earlier we got something around 54 or something. Now let's see what will be the answer. I think we have rebuilt it. Right? now it works perfectly, right? Okay, so we can't see the GPA, right? GPA we can't see. So shall we apply another show GPA, something called show GPA, a function called show GPA to the university student, right? Void So what I just did was I add another member, right? Another own member called show GPA, right? අපි member එකක් add කරා show GPA කියලා. So what happens here? Now it simply prints the name and the GPA, right? So now we have given it here as well. So what we can do is after the print details, shall we call the show GPA? See, right? Right? So I need you to understand few things here, right? So very fundamental things here that, right? The thing is that, right? So you can inherit things from a base class, right? So you can inherit things from the base class. And now we have lots of advantages of inheritance, right? So we haven't like here, now see, we have only 3 own members, right? We have own members la tunai තියෙන්නේ. We have only 3 own members, right? All of the others are inheritors, like the name, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3. All of them are inherited from the what I mean is they are inherited from the parent class. That means sub 1 sub ඔක්කොම අපිට parent class එකෙන් හම්බුනේ, right? And also what we did was we have our own like sub 5 and GPA, so they are our own, and the name, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3 and average, they are inherited from the parent class, right? And the other important thing now here, in the parent class you have something called the Z score, right? But we never use it, right? We never use it, right? That means, I mean, you can inherit, but there's no any requirement called like, okay, if you are inheriting something, if you are inheriting a base class from if you are inheriting a derived class from the base class, use all the data members, nah? ඉන්හෙරිට් කලා කියලා ඒක තියෙන ඔක්කොම යූස් කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ. යූස් කරන්න නැතිව අයින් කළා දාන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට ගෙදරින් හම්බුණා කියලා ඒක ඉතින් යූස් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා එකක් නෑනේ. Right? Understood. Right? And regarding the members, you can still, yeah. So what we did was, we had the issue with the calculation of the average, right? So the parent cal average, yes, it's inherited. Then කලින් එක inherit වෙලා තිබ්බ මේ cal average කියලා කොළ පාට තියෙන inherit වෙලා තියෙන. So that's inherited. But what was the issue? It's not giving the expected output, the expected average. It's only giving the average of the first 3 subjects. So that is not working for us. That does not work for the university student class. So what we did was, we create our own cal average. Yes, it could be done. From the same name, it could be done. Right? So you are going to get the inherited member function called cal average. Here also in your parent there is a function called cal average or member function called cal average. And the other thing is, in your in your own class, that means in your derived class also, you have the cal average function, the same name. It could be done. What will happen? You have your own cal average function as well as you have your own cal average function as well as an inherited cal average function. So the priority, when you are going to call it like this somewhere, the priority will be always given. The priority will be always given to what? Priority will be always given to the own member, right? The own member, right? The own member. Understood? Right. And then thereafter, right? So the print details, right? So print details, we use the print details. The parent class print details, right? We parent class එකේ print details එක තමයි use කරන්නේ. මොකද අපේ එකක් අපි හදාගත්තේ නැහැ බලන්න. Parent class එකේ මොකද තියෙන්නේ? Print details. So it's only it prints only the name and the average. So we can use it. But thing is, we don't have a method of showing the GP. So what we just did was we created a show GPA function. This is something our own, the class own member, right? So it simply shows the GPA. Right? Understood. Right. Hope you understood, right? Okay. Yeah. Yes. So that's how it's done, simply, right? So very fundamental example of inheritance, right? Inheritance. So inheriting a class from an existing class, right? So what I'm having here is the idea of yes, okay. right? So that's it, right? That's it. And yeah. Okay, so give me a second. Okay, now this is your assignment number 4, right? So this is assignment number 4, and you will get it today itself, right? A very simple one, right? So no need to do that much of thing here, right? Based on the object-oriented, basic object-oriented programming concepts, right? So this kind of student class, simply a student class, but somewhat different to what we have already implemented, right? So we have data members and methods and the class, everything is given. So then the instructions are given what to do, right? Bit different, but if you can read this and then identify what it can, what can be done here, right? Yeah, so another class, another thing is there here. Right. So I will explain you a few things that you can use, some hints for this assignment, right? So I will show you some hints for this assignment. One thing now, yeah, so here, right. Okay, so what we did, let's say our student class here, right? So here we always use our constructor, right? We always use our constructor to do what? Huh? We always use our constructor to pass values from the main to the data members. Main එකෙන් data members ලට values දෙවන්න අපි හැම වෙලේම use කරන්නේ මේ තියෙන නේද? අපි මෙන්න මේ construct එක තමයි හැම වෙලේම අපි use කරන්නේ, right? But thing is it's not a must. ඒක එහෙමම කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ, right? ඒ කියන්නේ හැම වෙලේම දැන් මෙන්න මෙහෙම construct එකක් හදලා මෙහෙම values එවන්න ඕනේ කියලා නීතියක් නැහැ. එහෙම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙහෙම කරනවා වෙනුවට ඔයාලට මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරන්නත් පුළුවන් ඕනේ. right? ඔයාලට මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි යමුකෝ මේ student class එකට, right? So student class you can see, right? I mean, without doing it like this, what you can simply do, I think it's better if I can get a simple code, right? Let's see. So without doing it like this, I think I have done it right. So right, then no need to always create this kind of, I mean, no need to pass values using constructor, right? What you can do is you can use this kind of a function called set marks or whatever the name and pass values like this, right? Can you remember now we have done similar examples? Now it's better I can, if I can show it as a fresh example. Yeah. So here, now you know, right? So this is a simple student class, right? A simple student class. So I'll get this code, everything is there in the code, right? No any separate files, everything is there in the same code, right? So here, what you can do, what you can see is that we have a constructor which takes like 4 parameters: the name, maths marks, physics marks, and chemistry marks. So what we do here is simply when we are creating an object, we pass those parameters. අපි object එකක් හදන වෙලාවටම ඔය parameters යවනවා. Right. Object එකක් හදන වෙලාවටම ඔය parameters අපි යවනවා. තේරෙනවද? හැබැයි එහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ. මේ construct එකටම බර පටවන්න ඕනේ නෑ. ඔයාට ඕන නම විතරක් යවලා. මං කියන නම ඕන නමත් යවන්න නැතුව ඉන්න පුළුවන්. So you can send the name like this, right? Right? Only the name. We are not sending the marks. Only the name is called only. Name is passed when we are creating it, right? Only the name, right? We don't pass anything. We only pass the name, right? We only pass the name, and what happens? The name will be only assigned to the variables like this. Name will be assigned. Only the name will be assigned, right? So then what you can do is you can have another like function, a separate function, a normal function like this. Set marks, let's say, set marks. And here using this method, you can pass the values. Right? Using this kind of a method. Right? Now, we don't, I mean, don't get confused here. You can do it using the constructor, it's fine. But you can use this method as well to pass values. මේ වගේ normal constructor එකම ඕනේ නෑ. මේ වගේ normal function එකකුත් වලිනුත් value එක pass කරන්න පුළුවන්. කොහොමද අපි කරන්නේ? Void student set marks. Right? And what you can do, so now අපි construct එක නෙමෙයි use කරන්නේ. මේ වගේ වෙනම function එකක් අපි දාගෙන තියෙනවා set marks කියලා. ඉතින් අපිට මොකද කරන්න පුළුවන්? set marks එකට marks තුනක් අරගෙන ඒ තුන මෙයාට assign කරන්න පුළුවන් simply, right? So here what you can do, right? s1 dot set marks. අර construct එක නැතුව මෙහෙම යවන්නත් පුළුවන් වැලියුත්. මම කියන්නේ construct එකෙන් කරන එක වැරදි කියලාවත් එහෙම කරන්න එපා කියලාවත් නෙමෙයි. Right? I simply says that it can be, the similar thing can be done like this as well. මේ වගේ වෙනම function එකක් call කරලා ඕනනම් ඔයාලට values එවන්නත් පුළුවන් කියලායි මම කියන්නේ. Right? So the same kind of a thing, the same thing will happen. Right? The same output will be there. Right? What I wanted to show you is that always no need to use the constructor. You can use this kind of normal data members member functions as well. you can do the same thing using the member functions as well. Right? Got it? Got the idea? So you will have to like here set details, set marks. So here we are not doing it using the constructor, right? So that's why I explained it how to do it. And right. Yes, another important thing I want to show you, one last thing. Hari, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Right. So here you can see that we have two rectangles. Right? Two rectangles. Now, like this. And like this, let's say, right? So we have two rectangles in this example, right? The R1 rectangle and R2 rectangle. Sorry. R1 rectangle and R2 rectangle, where you have 10 and 20, and also here also 5 and 50, right? Right. So I want a function, let's say, for example, I want a function which can, right? So which can so we have two objects, right? So R1 and R2, right? So you can remember the rectangle class, right? So the height and the width and the area, perimeter and print details, right? So everything is there. So what I want is, I want a function which can combine these two and create a combined object like this, a combined object. Called R3. So let's say this is equal to L1 and this is L2. Sorry, this is L1 and this is W1, and this is, let's say, L2 and this is W2. right? So I want a combined object like this, L1 plus L2, that means 35, and W1 plus W2, that means 50, right? So I want this as R3, right? I want this as R3, right? Okay, right? So what I need is simply a method to add these two objects, these two rectangle objects, and create this kind of a combined rectangle object. So any ideas how to do this? මෙයා කරන්න මොකක් හරි කාට හරි අයිඩියා එකක් තියනවද? මොකක් හරි ඩවුට් මට පොඩි නිකන් අයිඩියා එකක් දෙන්න මේක මෙහෙම කරොත් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි මෙහෙම කරොත් මට ඕනේ මේ R1 සහ R2 ඔබ්ජෙක්ට්ස් දෙක එකතු කරලා R3 කියලා අලුතෙන් ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් එකක් හදන්න. Yes. Any idea? Right. So what I can do is I can create a function called add, right? Void add, right? Void add. I'm going to create a function called void add, right? Void add. Sorry, not void. Yeah. For now, let's say void add, right? Void add. Right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to define that void rectangle add, right? So what I'll do is something like this. Okay, so I have R1 and R2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call R1 dot add, right? R1 dot add, and then I'm going to pass R2 here. Yeah, confusing නේද දැන්? හරි R1 තියෙනවා R1 ට R2 add කරන්න කියලා මම මේ function එකට යවනවා, right? Okay. Now here, now this is something that we already done, and I have asked this from you for several times. Okay. R1 dot add R2. So this is a function, right? This is a data member function. So we are passing an object here, R2 object. Then what should be here to take it? දැන් මෙතනින් R2 object එකක් අපි වෙනවා. R2 කියලා rectangle object එකක් වෙනවා. එහෙනම් මෙතන කවුද ඉන්න ඕනේ එක ගන්න? දැන් මට ඕනේ මේ දෙක එකතු කරන්න. මම ඒක එකතු කරන විදිය පස්සේ ඇතුලේ පෙන්නන්නම්. මේ function එක ඇතුලේ මම එකතු කරලා පෙන්නන්නම්. හැබැයි මෙතන අපි මේ function එකට යවනවා කෙලින්ම R2 කියලා rectangle object එකක්. එහෙම යවනකොට ඒක ගන්න කවුද මෙතන සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉන්න ඕනේ? මේක වාට මම කටපාඩම් කරලා තියෙනවා. මෙතනින් යවන එක්කෙනාට හරියන එක්කෙනෙක් මෙතන ඉන්න ඕනේ. මෙතනින් යන්නේ මොකද්ද? R2. R2 කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? rectangle object එකක්. එහෙනම් මෙතන කවුද ඉන්න ඕනේ? Yes. Yes.
Rectangle.
Yes, exactly. Very good, right? Float එකක් આવදී float එකක් නම්. Rectangle එකක් આવදී rectangle එකක්. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද මම කරන්නේ? දැන් මෙතනට ඇත්තටම එන්නේ කවුද? R2. මෙතනට ඇත්තටම එන්නේ R2. දැන් මෙතනට ඇත්තටම R2 තමයි මෙතන ඇතුළට එන්නේ. Right? R2. Right? Okay. So what I'll do now, right? I want to add both R1 and R2, right? So we call R1 dot. අපි call කරන්නේ මේක R1 dot කියලා. Right? We call it like R1 dot. We call it like R1 dot. එතකොට දැන් මේ මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ බොහොම පරිස්සමට මේ අපි දැන් ඉන්නේ R1 dot කියලා කෝල් කළා නම් අපි ඉන්නේ කොතනද? R1 ගේ ඇතුලේ තමයි අපි ඉන්නේ, right? මේ ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල් දේවල් කියන්නේ. we call it like R1 dot, right? So that means we are inside the R1 add function. අපි දැන් ඉන්නේ R1 ගේ add function එක ඇතුලේ. right? R1 ගේ add function එක ඇතුලේ තමයි අපි මේ ඉන්නේ දැන්. right? හරි. නෑ මම මෙහෙම කරන්නම් මේ R3 කතාව පොඩ්ඩක් අපි පස්සකට තියමු. R3 කතාව. right? මට ඕනේ කියන්නකො මෙහෙම දෙයක්. R1 සහ R2 ඉන්නවා. මම මෙහෙම කළාම කොහොමද දන්නවද? මම කරනවා R1 dot add R2 කළාම R1 dot add R2 කළාම R1 මෙන්න මෙහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. R1 ට R2 එකතු වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ උඩ තියෙන්නේ R1. මේ තියෙන්නේ R2. R1 dot add R2 කිව්වම R1 මෙහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. R1 ට R2 ඇවිල්ලා add වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි මම මොකුත් කියන්නේ නැහැ. කාටද කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මෙතන මම ගහන්න ඕනේ කෝඩ් එක මොකක්ද කියලා? quickly. දැන් අපි R2 යවලා තියෙන මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එක ඇතුළට. මට R1 ට add කරන්න ඕනේ. Now the thing is when you are going to add these things, the length should be added, right? The width should be added, the area should be added, the perimeter should be added. ඔක්කොම add වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Can someone tell me what to do here? දැන් අනිත් දේ තමයි මේ rect කියන එකේ දැන් තියෙන්නේ R2. දැන් මේ දෙක add වෙනවා කියන්නේ ඔයාලට තේරෙනවනේ width එක R1 ගේ width එකට R2 ගේ width එක add වෙන්න ඕනේ, R1 ගේ length එකට R2 ගේ length එක add වෙන්න ඕනේ, R1 ගේ area එකට R2 ගේ area එක add වෙන්න ඕනේ, R1 ගේ perimeter එකට R2 ගේ perimeter එක add වෙන්න ඕනේ. Yes, quickly. Okay, so R1 length. අපි කොහොමද R1 length එක මේ function එක ඇතුලේ access කරන්නේ? Yes. දැන් rect කියන්නේ නම් R2. එතකොට R1 කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Yes. Yes. So can you see now that you call this as R1 dot add. That means මේ අපි කතා කරන්නේ R1 ගේ function එකට. එහෙනම් මේ length කියන්නේ කවුද දැන්? මෙහෙම length කියලා දැම්මොත් මේකෙන් අපි access කරන්නේ කවුද? ආ? මේ length කියලා මම දැම්මොත් එහෙනම් මේ access කරන්නේ මේ මොන length එක? කාගේ length එකද මේ length කියන්නේ දැන්? ආ? Yes?
R1 ගේ.
Yes, exactly. ඇයි? ඉතින් දැන් R1 dot කිව්වහම R1 ගේ ඇතුලේ ඉන්නේ. එහෙනම් length කියන්නේ R1 ගේ length එක. මම එයාට එකතු කරනවා R2 ගේ length එක. මොකද R2 නේ අපි මෙතනින් එවන්නේ. rect dot length. මේක අපි සමාන කරන්න ඕනේ කාටද? ආ? R1 ගේ length එකට R2 ගේ length එක එකතු කරනවා. එයාව සමාන කරන්න ඕනේ කාටද? ආ? Yes? කාට සමාන වෙන්න ඕනේ? ආ?
R1.
R1 තමයි. ඉතින් R1 ගේ length එක කියන්නේ ඉතින් length. partner length එකට R2 ගේ length එක එකතු කරලා අලුතෙන් length එක හදා ගන්නවා. ඉතින් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Understood? Huh? හරිද? හරි. බලමු අපි මෙන්න R1 R2 හදලා R1 cal perimeter R1 cal area R1 print details කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි R1.add කියලා දාලා ආපහු print details කරලා බලමු R1 print details මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා. right? ඒ print details තුනක් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනියට R1 ගේ ඊළඟට R2 ගේ ඊට පස්සේ R1 ව R2 ට add කළාට පස්සේ ඊළඟට print details එක print කරලා තියෙනවා. බලමු මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. මං හිතන්නේ මේක මම ඩික්ලෙයාර් කරලා නැහැ මෙතන. ඒකින්ද මම මෙතන දාන්නම් ඒක. බලන්න හරියද කියලා. මේ පළවෙනියට එන print detail sorry. මේ පළවෙනියට එන print details එක R1 ගේ මේ R1 print details. sorry R1 print details. right? ඊළඟට තියෙන R2 ගේ. ඊළඟට අපි R1 ට R2 add කරනවා. add කරලා R1 print කළාම හරි නේද මේ? හරි නේද? හරියට වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා නේද? හා? හරි නේද වැඩි? right? So again, so try to understand this. R1 dot add. R1 dot කියවනම් R1 ගේ ඇතුලේ R1 ගේ add function එක, right? යවනවා R2 ඇතුළට, right? What happens? R2 ගන්න එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා මෙතන rect කියලා. So there is a object called rect to take the R. length කිව්වහම R1 length කියන්නේ R1 ගේ ඇතුලේ length කියන්නේ R1 ගේ length එකට. R1 ඇතුලේනේ. ඒතර R length කියන්නේ R1 ගේ length එකට. R1 ගේ length එකට R2 ගේ length එක එකතු කරනවා අලුත් length එකට replace කරගන්නවා. width එකට R2 එකතු කරනවා area perimeter ඔක්කොම එහෙම කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒතර මොකද වෙන්නේ R1 ට අරව එකතු වෙනවා add වෙනවා. right? Okay. So very simple thing. Now this will be useful for the question number 2, the feet and inches problem, right? So the question number 2 of the assignment, right? Okay. So yeah, I will pass this to you on this week. I mean today itself, and you can go through this thing, and I will announce the deadline as well. So if you have any questions, I will probably you can ask me, you can call me, or the thing is, and the other thing is that I will give you the deadline after the next Saturday. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me on next Saturday. Right? Deadline එක මම Saturday වලින් පස්සේ දාන්නම්. එතකොට ඔයාලට මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් මට ඊළඟ සතියේ Saturday ත් ඔයාලට අහන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Okay, so I will conclude the class from here. So if you have any other doubt, please ask.
This lecture material, did you upload these lecture materials to the driver? We lost that link.
You mean the codes?
And the presentations.
Yeah, I will upload it. You
Can you please send that link also again?
Yeah, I will send the link. So the what about the videos? Is it available?
Videos or we lost the link actually. Once we get the link, we can access it now. You
Yeah.
mailed that link.
Yeah, I have already mailed you, right?
Yeah, we lost that. Can you
Ah.
please send it again?
So what about the videos? Is it also lost?
No, sir. Videos, you have sent the mails now.
Okay.
One by one.
Yeah, I will send today itself.
And again, sir, is there any paper to our examinations in this subject
No,
or only the assignments?
CA subject, so it will be assignments, only the assignments.
Only assignments.
Yeah. Sometimes you may have a quiz, sometime kind of a quiz, but anyway, no any exams, kind of exams are not there, but can be quizzes can be there. One quiz,
Okay.
similar to
Okay.
not examine like exam.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Others, any doubt you may have? Okay then. So thank you very much, and we will meet on next Saturday. And before that, you will get the assignment. So please start working on the assignment. And if you have any doubt, you can contact me, as well as on next Saturday, you can ask any doubt if there is any doubt, right? So thank you very much, and see you on next week.
Thank you very much.